Hello, my name is Kevin May, also known as Philo, and I'm the author of these two books, Unlocking Our Superpowers and The New Earth is Here. And in this video, I'm going to tell a little bit of the story behind these books and a little bit of what they're about. So, back in 2008, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which is like chronic pain. I had it in my wrists and my knees very badly. And I went to all these doctors and they were trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And eventually they thought that it was some sort of like mind-body disorder, something like fibromyalgia. They actually called it RND. And they basically said that my brain was telling my body that it was in pain and had like inflammation, but there was nothing physically wrong with it. So I went to this therapy program where I lived at this rehab center for 3 years. And leading up to this, I was in like horrible pain. I couldn't even write in school, and it was really bothering me. I was starting to get really depressed, and I was just like, why is my body in pain? I couldn't play sports anymore. And after like 3 months of suffering, I finally went to this rehab program, and they taught me about the mind-body connection and also the emotional and spiritual levels of physical ailments. And so throughout this 3-week program, I was doing like 6 hours of physical therapy every day, jumping jacks, swimming in the pool, and this was the first time that I ever tried meditation. And so this woman did a guided meditation with me. She's like, relax your mind, relax your head, relax your eyebrows, relax your nose, doing like step by step every part of my body. And after like 20 minutes, I felt like my body was made out of jello. And like none of my pain even existed, and I was so relaxed, and I was like astonished by this because I was literally on like a scale of 1 to 10, like a 7 or an 8 all the time. So finally I started to learn some meditation techniques, and I learned to kind of heal myself from the inside out. And this sparked like a whole awakening for me. After this 3-week program, I was pretty much pain-free. And I can remember walking outside of the rehab center after 3 weeks and looking up at these huge puffy marshmallow clouds in the sky, and it was like I was seeing them for the first time and actually appreciating nature. And I just had like this default state of gratitude for my life because I wasn't in pain anymore. And this was around the same time that I got a laptop. So I started just staying up all night, like reading articles online and watching videos, documentaries about anything related to healing and also anything related to altered states of consciousness. This is around the time when I first tried magic mushrooms, and those were some really profound awakening moments for me. So I started just like reading all these books, watching all these documentaries, and that I was like obsessed with it. And that started in 2008, and that led me on this huge journey of wanting to learn everything I could about spirituality, religion, connecting with nature, all these different things that I was just so interested in. And as I was on this journey, I was also having a lot of similar challenges that kept arising up. And although I faced many things like chronic pain, depression, injuries of all sorts, it was like the universe was guiding me to learn about my own mind, body, and emotions and my spiritual connection. And so I just started experimenting with all these different healing methods. I went to every temple, Buddhist temple. I tried all styles of meditation. I literally did Kundalini yoga every single day for like 2 years straight, because I was just so interested in like changing my state of consciousness, figuring out how to heal, and just like learn these alternative ancient teachings. So that led me to explore more plant medicines. In 2011, I sat in my first ayahuasca ceremony, and for the next 3 or 4 years, I did multiple ceremonies, mostly on the West Coast. And I was also traveling to lots of transformational festivals and really getting a glimpse of like this new paradigm of new ways of living, new ways to relate to each other, new ways to I also was grateful to visit some Native American reservations and learn from some elders, as well as at different conferences, and really get a sense of some of this ancient knowledge is now being brought back into the present. And so, as I was on this journey, I always wanted to try things out for myself to see how they worked. And I developed all these different practices, which really helped me tremendously. And so in 2015, I devoted myself to compiling everything that I learned on my journey, all these different philosophies from around the world, and I compiled it into this book called Unlocking Our Superpowers. The back says it's a book for the movement, because really I feel like the universe kind of guided me. This was like my homework assignment to kind of like scan the whole collective consciousness for all of the most helpful information and like distill it, synthesize it into this book. And so in 2016, I published this book after really about 8 or 9 years of figuring it out, but it took me like a year and a half to write this. It's 246 pages, and it's basically like 20 books condensed into one, because I just try to give the golden nuggets of all these different practices, like, bioenergetic tapping for emotional healing and doing different affirmations that reprogram the subconscious mind. There's like all these different tools and techniques in this book that are given in a very do-it-yourself format. There's also a whole chapter in here called the creative process, which kind of gives the formula for turning any creative project into reality. And that's the formula that I used to write this book. And when I finished this book, I took a huge sigh of relief. I was like, finally, I finished it. I'm so happy and grateful. And I started touring, doing workshops, sharing it with the world. And then a year later, I moved to Asheville and was living mostly outdoors. And I felt like Mother Nature was like giving me all these teachings. And I felt like there was a whole new book being like shown to me. So in the end of 2018, I published the sequel, which is called The New Earth is Here. And this one has more of a feminine energy, whereas the Unlocking Our Superpowers has more of like a masculine energy. This one, I was writing this and gathering the information when I was very much exploring my feminine side and very much like listening to what nature was teaching me. So this book is basically like 75 bite-sized ideas which have all greatly influenced my life. And the cover art is from Josephine Wall. It's basically a picture of the world tree, similar to the Avatar home tree. And this metaphor synchronizes with a thing I share in this book, which is called The Tale of the Two Trees, which is basically that we have this dying civilization, society, way of doing things represented by a dying tree. And the branches represent all the dysfunctional problems of a society, like our politics is screwed up, our education is screwed up, our environmental practices are screwed up. All these things are screwed up. Those are like the branches of the dying tree. And then the roots are represented by the dysfunctional beliefs and values that have grown this sick society. And so this paradigm is dying right now. But over here, we have, representing this beautiful new world tree, we have the thriving tree, where the roots are the new value systems, the new beliefs that we are all slowly anchoring in, representing collaboration, unconditional love, consent culture. All these different beautiful things are the new root systems of this thriving tree. And then the branches and the flowers are represented by, all these new paradigms of systems, permaculture gardens, transformational festivals, healing councils, indigenous language revival. All these different things are represented by the new tree. And so both of these books together, they're really, I say they fit together like a zipper. They're kind of like a duo that mutually support each other. But they really are like a way to practically integrate these practices and beliefs into your day life so it becomes like this new holistic lifestyle. And so I just wanted to share kind of the backstory, just a little bit of an overview for you. You know, if you're into expanding consciousness, if you're into plant medicines, if you're into holistic healing, I highly recommend exploring these books and seeing how these practices can really change your life. So if you're interested, if you want to talk, please send me a message on Facebook or on my email. I'll post the links below, but Philo is where you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And I'm just so passionate about sharing this information that has helped me so much. I've gotten tons of amazing testimonials and feedback from hundreds of people all over the world that have really appreciated these books, and I'm ready for them to go out and empower many more people. So thank you for watching. Please send me a message if you want to connect. The book is on Amazon, but what I really like to do is send people signed copies of the book. So please send me a message if you're interested in that. And please check out more of my videos here on my YouTube channel. And have an awesome day. Peace.